Talk with the FBI, talk with our staff here. I think the president is right to say, let's get this material out. They're moving today very quickly. Some documents have already been produced today, and they'll be moved faster. And there will not be, I believe, any significant redactions that may have been suggested will not be in there. There's going to be a virtually complete disclosure. Some people who are alive may not need their names or their current addresses revealed. A lot of it is extraneous entirely.
Journalist Gerald Posner joins us now. He is the author of Case Closed. Gerald, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Rick. You know, as you just had that clip coming in, looking at Jeff Sessions, he was 16 years old when Jack Kennedy was killed. Wow. I imagine 16-year-old Jeff Sessions could never have imagined 54 years later he would be talking about releasing the final JFK files at some point.
The files have not been released, and the president promised full disclosure. So what stopped him?
What stopped him is that he got tripped up with a speed bump put out by the FBI and the CIA. Those agencies know how to play the game very, very well to the strict letter of the law in terms of holding on to documents as long as they can. They never really want to release them, and here they are, 5 decades later, holding on to the last vestige of the Kennedy assassination. 25 years, the law said they had to release them on Thursday. And what did? They came in on Thursday and made their final objections, putting the president in a difficult spot. Either he waved his hand and said, release them all right now, in which case maybe some confidential information gets out that could hurt somebody, or otherwise, let's hold them and review them, and that's what he had to do. But he was not pleased about it from all reports.
Gerald, can you shed some light on what these intelligence agencies are so worried about?
Originally I thought it was just over the fact that they were concerned that maybe somebody who had been an informant for them, let's say in Mexico, because Lee Harvey Oswald had visited Mexico City trying to get to Cuba 7 weeks before the assassination, that it might disclose CIA informants back then who could be 80 years old and still alive. But it's even more than that. Some of the operations that we had back in the 60s, believe it or not, in spying on other embassies inside of Mexico City was with the help of the Mexican government. Some of these went on into the 70s, 80s, and even the 90s. There are government officials that are retired. It could be embarrassing to them, primarily in Mexico. That's where the big hit is, a little bit here in the United States. Okay. But on the whole, Rick, there's no reason to hold on to these after so long.
And this could add fuel to the conspiracy fire because there's still stuff out there that we're not being told about.
No question. What you just said now, I think, is the key. The American public looks at this and they say, why are they holding all this for all this time? They don't get into the nuances and the weeds about why this name has to be out of that name. It looks like they have something to hide. And they've done a disservice to the American public on this and the service of history since day one. Warren Commission locked these files up. They've stayed secret. 5 million pages have come out since Oliver Stone's terrible film, good film, terrible history in '91. But still, these last documents are what everybody's focused on.
And they did release 2,800 documents. So what stands out so far?
They did, but they were very clever about that. The 2,800 documents they released, only about 52 of those came from the stack that we've never seen before. The other 2,750 were documents they had released in the past in which they had some names blacked out, and now they released them without any redactions. So really, they released 52 new files. And what did we learn from that? We learned the degree to which the CIA was absolutely petrified of telling the FBI and the Warren Commission after Kennedy's murder the details of what was going on in Mexico City, because the Warren Commission wanted to know what the CIA had learned about Oswald on his 6-day visit down there. And what the CIA was worried about wasn't Oswald or solving the case. They were worried that if they shared with the Warren Commission the fact that they had telephone taps, wire surveillance, and video surveillance on the Soviets and the Cuban embassies, that would leak out. So they hid all of that information, and you see all of that panic and concern. You also learn J. Edgar Hoover's concern after Jack Ruby, the nightclub owner who kills Lee Harvey Oswald on Sunday, 2 days after the assassination. You learn how Hoover's worried that that murder of Oswald means that conspiracy theories are going to go on forever.
If there was a smoking gun, Gerald, wouldn't we have heard about it by now?
Boy, Rick, I think you're absolutely right. And the reason is, if you look at the last major public opinion poll done on the 50th anniversary in 2013, Gallup showed that 29% of Americans thought it was a lone assassin and 61% a conspiracy. That number is closest it has been since the assassination almost. It used to be 90% after Stone. just for what you said. People are finally saying, okay, 54 years, where's the deathbed confession? Where's the bit of evidence? Where's the guilty conscience?
Yeah.
Where is that piece of credible evidence? It just isn't here.
Yeah. Gerald Posner, thanks very much for your insight.
Thanks, Rick.